Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Krizia. I'm a makeup artist and I've been doing content now for a little over a year. And today I want to talk about one of the cameras that I actually use for my content, and that is the Sony ZV-1. You've probably seen this camera before or heard of it. It's actually the first model that came out in 2020. Since then, there have been a couple other launches that are newer, but I actually think this one is still standing strong as a favorite. And we're going to get into why that is. Starting off with the pros, I have to say one of the biggest pros of having this camera is how compact it is. It is the perfect size to carry around with you. I personally have had many other camera models that have super great quality, but because they were too bulky or too heavy, it was really difficult for me to carry them around without feeling like I was lugging around a ton of equipment. And I don't know about you, but that also can get in the way of you being consistent as a content creator. So I was really looking for a camera that I could just pick up and point and shoot whenever I felt inspired to do so. Because let's be honest, if it's difficult to put something together or set something up, or let alone carry it with you, you're more than likely not going to want to do it. Not only that, but it's super compact, very lightweight. It's really great for vlogging. This camera is actually marketed as a vlogging camera, so you will see that it is targeted for content creators and vloggers specifically, which is a great thing, because if that's you, then it makes it easy to make a decision. That is one of the reasons why I got it. Another pro to this is that this camera lens does zoom in pretty nicely. You can get up close without losing the quality. You can get those up close shots whenever you need to with product shots. There's so many great things about it that I love. The zoom ability of this camera is better than a lot of other cameras that are similar, so that is definitely a pro. Another great thing is the autofocus feature. I think it's pretty great that I don't have to mess with and deal with setting up the focus. You can touch the screen on the camera to basically center the focus, but it is pretty good at capturing your face when you're moving around. Like, it will still be able to track the face pretty well, and the autofocus is actually a super great feature. There's also a button that allows you to easily turn on and off blurring the background, which is really helpful actually, because depending on where you're shooting or what you're filming, you may or may not want the background in your shot. Now to show you the setting with blurring the background, as you can see, this is with defocus. With the clear background, I did have to change the ISO a little bit. Another great thing about this camera is the built-in mic. You may notice that I'm actually using an external mic today, and that's because I got it for Christmas. Shout out to my fiance, because I had been wanting one of these. They're so cute. I mean, I just love the concept of holding a microphone and the ability to enhance my audio on some of my videos. Otherwise, all of my other videos that I've filmed prior to today, I've used only through the mic that's built into the camera. So here's a clip of the audio. I'm not using any external mics. This is just the mic that is built into the camera. It's not that bad. I'm also pointing the camera away from me so you can hear how it sounds if I'm filming from behind the camera, because the mic is on top. The built-in microphone on this camera is actually pretty good. It even comes with the little fuzzy top, which basically helps prevent against static, wind noise. Like if you're going to be in an extra loud place like outside, then you would definitely want to use the little fuzzy top, which is going to help diffuse those additional background noises. And as you can see, we can also use a feature such as adding our own microphone, because it has a built-in jack that allows you to plug in your own microphone. I'm actually doing that right now, and it allows you to use an external mic if you feel like you want to or need to for any reason. You can also attach your own flash to this camera, which is really cool. Apparently this camera also has more zoom than even the newer model of this line, the one that comes right after it, which is the ZV-1F. And even the salesperson actually advised me to get this camera over the newer one. And now I kind of understand why. And based on a lot of other reviews that I've seen for the slightly newer model of this camera, there were a lot of complaints and people were saying that ZV-1F, the F was standing for flop or fail, because it was kind of getting a bad rep for a lot of different reasons. For the quality of this camera, you can shoot up to 4K, and you can also take really great quality photos. If you're looking for something that is great at capturing video, especially vlog content, and something that you can even take photos with and be happy with, I think this camera is great, because I do use it for photos sometimes, but I would say majority of the time it's for my YouTube channel. So it's mostly vlogging and videos that I'm using this camera specifically for, because I have other cameras that I use more for photos or my phone. But this camera is pretty reliable overall. Like the fact that you can take video and good quality photos with it is kind of like a big deal, because not a lot of cameras offer that flexibility to take high quality video and a high quality image at the same time. One of the biggest cons for me was where the battery is placed and where the slot for putting this camera on a stand is. They're so close to each other that if you have your camera propped onto a stand like I do and you need to access the battery for some reason, like to change it, you can't actually open the battery slot without taking the camera off of the stand, because the area where you connect your camera to a stand, it is basically right next to the door to open the battery. So you can't actually open it while it's on the stand, which is kind of annoying because I have other cameras that I'm able to take off the battery, which makes sense because if you need to charge your battery halfway through, you can swap them out without having to remove your camera from the stand. But in this case, unfortunately, that is not the case. So that is a minor technical issue, but I mean, if we're talking about hundreds of dollars of a difference compared to the more expensive models, I guess we can kind of look past it. The other thing is, for night shots, compared to my other Sony cameras that I have, it is not as good for taking nighttime photos without any lighting, and it definitely leans towards video being better overall. So I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be using this for taking photos, especially not photos at night. So I was willing to look past it, but I think it's worth mentioning that if you're looking to film like at nighttime and you want like more like night vision in your camera, then this may be something you'd want to look into and see what other options you have. But overall, it's not bad. I think it's good enough. It gets the job done. The other downside, again, which I wouldn't even say this is really a con, but again, I have to mention it, is that there is no flash. I know a lot of people right now are loving like the Canon camera with the flash, and it really comes down to whether or not you're looking for a camera that you can do video with or photo with. It's really hard to get like perfect on both, but because I knew that I'm going to be using this specifically for video, I wasn't really bothered by the fact that there wasn't a flash attached to this camera, especially because I can just also attach my own light and my own flash to it, no problem. So, I mean, if that's like a big deal to you, then that's definitely something to consider. But for me, again, it wasn't a big deal, but I guess it is considered a con. The other con is that the battery life has some complaints. It could be improved. I would say a lot of people generally get about 45 minutes of video without having to charge their camera, and about maybe a little bit more than that for photos. I don't really use it for photos, so I can't confirm or deny, but for video, I will say like 45 minutes is usually the point where I need to charge my camera or swap out the battery. So I would say if you're gonna get a camera anyway, it's always necessary to have additional batteries, because the last thing you want is to be filming and then your battery dies and then you just have to wait to charge your camera. So I will link down below some extra battery packs in the description for you to check out, but I don't have an issue buying additional batteries, but I guess it's considered a con because the battery life could be better. And then lastly, I would say this is a con that other people have, but it's not necessarily a con that I have. And that is, a lot of people say that when they're vlogging with this camera, it is a little bit too close. It's a little bit more zoomed in than most people would like. So I know a lot of people, when they're vlogging, they prefer a wider lens. And because this doesn't allow you to interchange the lens, like it comes with a built-in lens, so you can't actually swap out the lens. That is something to keep in mind if you're someone who likes to vlog in selfie mode and you don't want it to be so zoomed in. I will show you a clip of what that looks like. I don't have a lot of issue with it being somewhat cropped in. I really don't mind because I usually have it attached on a little stand anyways, and I'm mostly filming these type of videos where I'm sitting in front of the camera and it's on a stand, so I'm not necessarily like walking around vlogging so much. But that is also another thing to keep in mind. And then the last con I would say is that I hear mixed reviews about the stabilization of this camera. The stabilization is overall not bad, but you do kind of have to walk maybe a little bit slower than you normally would because you don't want it to get that somewhat shaky look. All in all, to recap, the pros of this camera is it's very compact, easy to carry. It makes it very easy and hassle-free to just turn on the camera, point and shoot, and start recording. If you're looking for something that you can just reliably turn on and start recording with, this is definitely a great camera to look into. For the price point, it is a little bit of an investment, but it's not nearly as much as some of the other expensive cameras out there. With the quality of this camera being so close to some in the $1,000 range, I think it's a really great place to start. And even with the newer models that have come out in this Sony ZV line, this still remains a top favorite by a lot of people, and with good reason. I would say I don't regret anything at all. Purchasing this camera was one of the best investments I had ever made. It also allowed me to be more consistent on my YouTube channel. There's so many great things about this camera that I love. If you liked this video, I think you'll enjoy this review on my AirPods Max Pro headphones that I also reviewed. I'll leave a link here for you to watch. If you're also looking for some lighting and the lighting maybe that I use, I will leave everything in the description box below, but there's also this video that you can check out here. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, where I upload weekly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.